Welcome to Tonetalks. Welcome to Tonetalks. Welcome to Tonetalks.
What up, y'all? Tonetalks up in here. I appreciate everybody tuning in. It's Friday. You know, I told everybody I was going to talk about something else, but I'm going to talk about this CNN article. If you ain't read it, go read it. It's crazy. Black men are the most successful. Come on. And I mean successful, CC. We're going to talk about it today. I ain't going to say that it's written by a right-wing conservative think tank. I ain't going to say that it's looking at black baby boomers. But what I am going to say, it don't make no sense. Y'all know who I got with me. I got Yvette Carnell because we gonna talk about a few things before we get into the article. Yvette, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh. I don't think they ready for what we about to talk about. Because, I mean, a lot of people, what they tend to do is they have a lot of beliefs and feelings and everything else about solutions and how me and you need to solve things. We gonna hammer that down today too. It's about 110 degrees here in LA. I had to go with no jacket. Come on. So let's go through these questions. You know y'all gonna get some questions. So the title of the show is No CNN, Black Men Are Not Successful Economically in America. I want to make sure that everybody calls in today. Dash Radio, Dash Talk X, Tone Talks in the building. Got Yvette Carnell with me. You know I gotta have Yvette with me. Yeah. We going with 6 questions today. Why would CNN post an article saying black men are succeeding in America made by a conservative think tank? Ain't CNN supposed to be liberal? Is they angling now that they see Trump might get that second term? 37% black male unemployment in Wisconsin. 1 in 5 black men didn't work in 2016. 1 in 3 black male babies will go to jail at one point in their life, but we succeeding in a first world country that my family built, that Yvette's family built, that your family built. But come on, we gonna talk about it. Number 2, do we understand timing? How could a study focusing on baby boomers, 60-year-olds, retirees that are living a plush life of retired, good salaries, tell us anything about the prospects of millennials? Number 3, what is the poverty line and why is it wrong to use it in an assessment of black progress? Come on. We're going to talk about that poverty line. Everybody be, it's funny because everybody say, Tone, you negative. Nah, Tone, just tell you the truth. How many of y'all was going to share that article? I love that positivity. It's made by a think tank, a conservative think tank to steal your reparations. Y'all don't need nothing. Y'all fixed. Take care of your cousin. Buy him his anklet, fresh out of jail. Come on. Number 4. If you believe black men are successful, is it based on the man in the mirror when you wake up? Or for the couples, I'm asking the women, the actual guy that you're dating or his projection? Is we basing it on Clark Kent or the Superman that this man tell me he's gonna be? Come on. Are we basing it on Peter Parker or the Spider-Man that this black man tell me he gonna be and tell himself he gonna be? The problem is in the real world ain't no Spider-Mans. All we get is Peter Parker that ain't never been to a laboratory and ain't never gonna be bitten by no magical spider. Come on, we dancing with this one. Let's get it. Number 5. What is the danger of pushing propaganda around marriage and the military? Everybody got to know this study that this CNN report is based on was done by AEI, American Enterprise Institute. They all about pushing military and conservatism and marriage. They don't want us to get no reparations. They don't want us to get fired up. They don't want me and the vet to get y'all agitated and ready to go demand from government with your vote, with your voice, what your family bled for. I don't care what they want. We coming. Number 6. Is LeBron James and his move to LA a measure of black males being successful if large patches of black males across the city are unemployed? Come on, bring that up. Let's go. Underemployed, homeless, Skid Row, Decadent Vale. Let's turn this down. Let's get with Yvette. I'm going to let Yvette chime in, and we're going to talk a little bit about a little side thing before I get into the questions. Yvette, what's your thoughts on this study that came out before I ask you some other stuff?
Well, I mean, the first thing that I think about the study is just it's just one of the things that I hope that we've done in terms of the work that we do is just to show you how propaganda works. And so and it's funny that piece of propaganda came out right around the time that we were talking about, we had this whole conversation about, how immigrants are doing better than us, Hispanics specifically. And we had some data about, their ability to be upwardly mobile and our inability, how we're stuck and how our failure is baked in. And then you come right back with, no, black people are doing great. And so the thing is, we've had this abdication in our community of nobody's doing the work. And the people who are doing the work in academia, nobody's pushing that work. And so what's happening now is that we're getting into a space where we're making people have to kind of respond. You have to say something. Like, it's an abdication that nobody's been doing this. Nobody's been pushing back in any kind of tangible way that can be felt in the black community when they just throw this propaganda at you to make you feel like, oh, you're doing great, you're succeeding.
Come on, man. Yvette, I brought you on for a particular purpose outside of even this study. Talked to you about it earlier. Everybody always talking. Everybody always talking about solutions. How we don't give no solutions, we only face the problem. I want to break this thing down a little bit so they can stop talking. Let's talk about the first thing. Stop telling me that you don't need white government. Everything in your life is government. From the pothole street that you drive down, to the street lights that turn on when 7 o'clock hits, to the water you turn off on your faucet. Everything comes from government in your whole life. And you talking like you in a developing country and you built all your stuff. This ain't about white government. This is about the government that your family built with their bones and blood. So I'm not understanding what everybody's saying when they say white government not gonna give us nothing, when everything about your first world life came from the progress of civil rights and the Voting Rights Act. See, all of that is right-wing propaganda. And I guess for me, what I'm running into is people keep on tagging me in Facebook because they fighting with their friends. I don't have those friends. If you tell me that government is white man, you probably ain't with me. We don't need to talk that much. So Yvette, I want you to chime in on the white man is government point.
Well, I think it's a masterstroke. Like, it's a masterstroke. Everybody remembers the whole Charles Wu thing with Boyce Watkins, where Charles Wu was talking about how Boyce Watkins was his character and that he was the pitch man and all that stuff. Well, remember what he said. He said something very specific. He said the way we sell products, and he said he'd done it before. He said the way we sell products to black people, we tell them that this product is their way to come out from up under the white overlord. So what they tell you so that you'll buy the product is, well, I'm not gonna wait for the white man to do nothing for me. I'm not gonna the police. I got to get up under the white man. So that's a selling point. And see what's happened. That's happened even in our politics. See, in our politics, we don't talk about how the white man. I got to have my own business, so I can't be up under the white man. We say the white man is daddy. So it goes from the white overlord. It's the same thing when you say a white government, white Uncle Sam. You waiting for your white daddy. It's the same scam. And the whole scam is used to either sell us something or convince us that we don't need something because we can do it for ourselves. So we don't have access to our own government. This is all propaganda. Anytime you hear that, and so what I want to say to people, anytime you hear that, well, y'all just want something from the white man, or anytime you hear that this product is going to help you not have to go work for the white man, understand that this is a very intentional scam to keep you spinning your hamster wheel round and round and round we go and never get anything. Yeah.
And it's a trip because that brings me to the second thing. What's the solution? Look, right now, a caste is forming in America, and you on the bottom. I don't care which, a lot of black people don't even understand. When I say that the middle black family in LA is worth $200, when I say that the middle black family across this nation is worth $1,700 without a family car, I'm telling you that you don't got enough. And the thing that's so funny is like everybody's like, where's that person? Everybody at your Thanksgiving. Everybody at your Thanksgiving. I'm looking at this article from the Wall Street Journal. It says the OECD, the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, sounds the alarm over a broken elevator for social mobility. In the U.S., it could take roughly 100 years for the descendants of a person in the bottom 10% to secure a middle income. Your whole family, like 40% of black people in the bottom 10%. That's just income. That's not even looking at wealth. We'll get into that on that study as well, how they use income instead of wealth with the AEI study that we're going to be talking about. But like what you don't understand is like when you look at India, a lot of the problem is that people ain't been nowhere. They ain't traveled. So we got a lot of black folks that ain't never left South Carolina. Or if they left South Carolina, they went over to Atlanta and came back to South Carolina. So they don't have context for like how systems work, say in parts of Africa, tribes, how castes work in India. The caste system in India, the Brahmins are on the top, the Vaishyas in the middle, and the untouchables at the bottom. The untouchables are like in the Slumdog Millionaire movie. Your family came from slaves. Your family below the untouchables. What does that mean if a caste system forms? You're going to be under the caste. You know, Dr. Kevin Cosby used a great analogy about the melting pot. He said, we not in the melting pot. We the little biscuits that they use to burn at the bottom that become ash so everybody else can melt. So I'm saying all that to say, if a caste is forming, understand the reason why we're saying that we need transformative government isn't so you don't have aspiration. It is the solution to break down the caste so your aspiration can actually mean something. So you don't need government, but you're going to break out of a caste. You ain't got $2 in your bank account, but you gonna be the one. The solution is to understand that you can't be the one because it ain't about one. It's about collectivity. It's about a social movement. Me and Yvette are coming. Now you can get on the train or you can watch it go by. Yvette, you want to say something?
No, I want to. It's like I think it's almost as if like this is just like your call to duty. Like it's not about like this sort of thing. This microwave solution. So 400 years of systemic sustained oppression. And most of us are still asleep, right? And feel we can do it ourselves. But you want like this instantaneous solution to that thing. No, this is first of all a call to you're having a realization that thing is real. That thing is real. Now, to understand the second part of after you understand that thing is real, you have to understand that there is no specific individual solution that you can do that will change that without involving government. Nobody's saying that you can't do business, but you can't do business without government. You go compete with Amazon without government protecting you in a protected space to do business. How is that possible?
If you think it, you can believe it, Yvette. You don't need no government protections. You just going.
Okay, open.
I mean, that's what they tell us. We not giving solutions. We not giving solutions. Look, next time that you say that to me, don't come back on my channel when you get your divorce and your wife stole your money out your account. Don't come telling me the after effects of you living in a fantasy if you don't want to be part of this reality. These are not numbers just for the sake of numbers. These are the data sets that reflect all of our families. And if your family's an aberration and you got 10 LeBron James, I commend you. But I tell you right now, even Byron Allen ain't got 10 LeBron James, and he bought the Weather Channel for $300 million. You lying. You Superman with no cape and just naked.
We ain't naked.
Come on, man. Come on. Actually, I'm going to give you a cape. Black dude out here with the afro with a cape on talking about he's Superman. Naked. Come on, man.
Well, you can call those people crazy.
That's what they sound like. Come on. And Yvette, so we're going to get into this. If you could, walk down with me down a little bit of this. This is Dash Radio, Dash Talk X, 323-879-4445. I want your voice to be heard on this because this is so problematic that CNN put this out. because they almost validated a conservative think tank using all the wrong data to reflect what was going on with wealth. Myself, Sandy Darity, Dark Hamilton, Ann Price, and several other economists, we put out a paper. What we get wrong about closing the racial wealth gap got covered everywhere. And what we lay out is the reality of things. I don't know what these people were doing. I did a short video on it, but I wanted to come back and do a show, let everybody get their voice and get a chance to chime in. I think we got our first caller. Let's take this caller event, and then we'll just get to the first question. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Kale, calling from Hopkins, South Carolina. How you doing, Tom?
All right, you're going to walk down the first question, but let's turn your background down because we're about to get into it. The first question is, why would CNN post an article saying black men are succeeding in America made by a conservative think tank? 37% of black males unemployed in Wisconsin, that's social collapse. 1 in 5 black men nationally didn't work in 2016. CNN actually put that out. And as Bernie Sanders, a black male baby, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, has a 1 in 3 chance of going to jail. Let me give you some context for that. Among women, all women, it's only a 3% chance that a black woman goes to jail. A 1.5% chance for a Hispanic, and a 0.5%. Basically, if you're a woman, you ain't gonna go to jail. So we talking a 33% chance, and we living in the first world. So I asked first you, Yvette, why would CNN allow them to write this? Because it was written as an opinion piece and title it "Black Men Are Successful, are Succeeding." Let me say it again: Black men are succeeding in America.
Well, I think one of the reasons is, look, CNN is kind of picking up on something. When MSNBC when Obama was president, what you saw with MSNBC, you saw a lot of black faces. You saw a lot. Everybody from Toure to Melissa Harris Perry. You saw a lot. Al Sharpton was on every day. You saw a lot of black faces. Well, the thing is, once he was gone, these were the Negro whisperers, the people who were going to interpret Obama. Once Trump got in, you saw it move to the right. So when I turn on the TV on MSNBC anytime during the day, there's a Republican woman who worked during George W. Bush's administration, right? So I think what CNN is doing too, you see these they're ticking to the right. Like they're kind of ticking to the right because they see not only is Trump here, we thought that he would be gone, but his numbers aren't as bad as we thought they were going to be. We might have to kind of track ourselves to the right to stay out of the crosshairs. And there's also a propaganda motive here because we can't have black people out here. And the media has always, that's why Trump can get away with saying fake news, because the media has always, it has never been like a unbiased. It's always been an arm of the establishment. The establishment government. And so what they're doing is propaganda too. Yeah, y'all are right. Y'all don't get upset. Just know that you're doing good and keep trying.
So that way you don't need no reparations. Don't worry about that affirmative action decision last week. You just go ahead and you take care of your brother that's fresh out of prison. You go ahead, you deal with your son that can't find no job after he went to Howard. You just deal with that. Y'all succeeding though. Caller, what's your opinion on this whole thing?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. When I first read about it, I was like, man, that's propaganda, because it reminded me of that thing where there was an article that came out years back that said how you starting to have blacks increasing in college degree rates and stuff like that. And it's basically a feel good piece to say, okay, yeah, we're doing well out here, even though the people that's on the ground that's seeing it every day, like my case, I work 3 jobs and only make $11,000.
Say that again. No, say that again. Let everybody hear that again.
I'm a college graduate, and I work 3 jobs. 3 jobs and only make $11,000 at the end of the day.
Each one?
Total, let's see. The one job I make $8.50 an hour. The other job I make $9 an hour. And I basically hovering around minimum wage on all 3.
Let me tell you this, caller. This ain't gonna happen under my watch. We coming. I don't think everybody understands. They've been saying solution. They better not let me hit this corner, because I can't have it. I can't have you working for $11,000 after college. Hook or crook, we coming. And so I commend you on that. Let me let you finish your point, man. I feel for you.
Thanks, man. But that's the messed up part because the thing is, it kind of ties. This will tie to kind of the second question, where you mentioned about the boomer thing. When I was growing up, we was always told go to college. It was basically given information that was 2 and 3 generations old. Oh, you go to college, you will find you a job. We weren't told, okay, you go to college, you find you a network and stuff like that, and you get a good job. We just told, oh, go to college, everything will be all right. And that was information that worked well for my grandma's generation in the 70s, but look at it. My dad graduated from college. He had to cut hair for 10 years before he was able to get a somewhat stable job. And look at me. I went to college and had amazing GPA and everything, and you see what I'm doing right now. 3 jobs and dealing with this crap. So
thank you so much, caller. Let me take this next call. Everybody want to get their opinion on this. Let's take the next caller. So look, Yvette, this man spoke to something called timing, right? You still there?
Absolutely.
I don't think we understand timing. I mean, it's like somebody came on your Instagram talking about, well, my granddaddy did it, I can do it too. Look how many lessons. You can't come in on 101 no more. I done shown y'all the Diallo chart the last few shows, but even if you don't use the Diallo chart, you can use another one. I think they came out on the Pew or something of the sort. And what you got to understand is there was a kicker that happened right about when the boomers came of age. Especially this. So this study is about men that are about 60 years old. Between 57 and 64 is their birth years. Those are the late boomers. You can't use the late boomers, not the black or white, to frame the reality of the moment. You particularly can't use black ones because they just got government jobs or they just got good jobs that have retirement accounts at Ford or something that don't exist no more. This is before immigration. This is right after we get all of our rights and our affirmative action and government contract for black businesses. What they got to do with the moment? So CNN puts the article up, and the picture is millennial college grads. But you click the article, and it's about boomers. I mean, I don't think everybody understands how ignorant that is. But to make it clear, a friend of the show wrote an article called A Slight Success, I apologize. And what he said, just to share a little bit of his article with you, as Antonio Moore has rightly pointed out in his eviscerating critique of the study, the researchers limited their focus to black men who were born between the years 57 and 64, talking about the study. More properly periodized in relation to U.S. wealth, those crucial years marked the tail end of the boomer generation, whose access to the American middle class was in many ways wholly unlike any that had preceded or followed it. Black men who were born during this era and who would then grow up to be the representatives of the AEI study, the American Enterprise Institute study we're talking about, success stories, did so in a shadow of unprecedented social mobility for descendants of U.S. slaves. That ability to be upwardly mobile during the latter half of the 20th century was something that was largely aided by a number of civil rights gains, victories, which critically resulted in the federal government, whether through codifying into law or incentivizing employers and school officials via disbursement of federal dollars, creating targeted and race-specific initiatives intended to open up access to education and employment within Black America, and thus to offer improved chances of economic stability. So we're looking at government access during a time when government ain't giving no access. Understand this. The late boomers benefited from low-cost education. College was free almost. They benefited from great jobs that had great retirements. That's why they retired now. They benefited from being the recipients of the work by Medgar Evers and Dr. King and Malcolm X, being perfectly timed in terms of age. And they benefited from a white America that was ready to accept some Black Americans, Black respectability into the doorway. So now we after that. But the study framed its article, its opinion article, like it's right now. Yvette, are you there?
I'm here.
What's your take on this timing element?
Well, I think timing. The whole timing element goes right along with the whole activism element, right? Like, I think what happened is that too many American black DOS really thought that the door swung open and the door just stayed open.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like it was like the end. Like it was like this is just like there was some permanency. And see what you see that there's nothing really permanent about this life except for change. And change is something that you have to work at every day, and it's grudging. But we thought that door was just open, and we thought that door, the same door that Granddaddy, when he got to work at GE and he got a middle manager and he retired, and the same door that, you know, you think that door was just going to stay open. Like this is just, no, everything is shifting. And if you're one of us, everything is always shifting against you, because the thing that we're built here to be the trash compactors, to eat all the failure. So the belief that door had swung open and now we were just a part of America and we didn't have to do anything is like the one of the most acute failures of black leadership, you know, even you know, black academia. And I'm not saying that some of them don't do good stuff, but you don't hear about it. And then people who do right in a way that black people can really get into sometimes are shunned or marginalized, you know, and that's the problem.
So again, 323-879-4445 --radio --talkx. Please support the channel. Use the super chat, tonetalks.org. Also support my girl Breaking Brown and Yvette Carnell. Reach over there and catch her on Monday and Wednesdays. But look, this is the thing that's interesting. Let's talk about some of the things that the boomers benefited from. Cheap housing, no-cost college, middle-class jobs that didn't require college, 40-hour work weeks, no requirement to save for your kids to go to college. You didn't have to. You know, now you got a bunch of black young millennials with $80,000, $120,000 in student debt talking about they kid not gonna have no student debt, or their kid gonna be an entrepreneur. All despite the data showing that 90% of black businesses are undercapitalized, have like no employees. So it's all based on just no product, just entrepreneurship. So when I also look at the boomers, I can't help but look at the door that just swung shut. I don't know if everybody following the Supreme Court. You know, that union decision that came down last week that they can't force people to pay dues will be the gutting of unions. Like, meaning the decision means that what you could do before as a union is basically, because everybody receives benefits, even if you decided not to be a member of the union as an employee of Coca-Cola or whatever else, you basically still had to pay into the dues. Now people can opt out. Oh, do you know what happens? Do you know that we won't have the retirements in the unions? Let's take this next caller. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tone, this is Quentin, and I'm calling from Portland, Oregon.
Oh, Quentin, you know, I want to ask you, I want to go into the third question. I got Yvette here. I hope I have a few more minutes with her. I tended to let her go, but y'all know I can't let Yvette go. Y'all know I got to make sure that she spread that juice, that noni juice. I don't know if it's real.
Is that another scam?
Yvette selling noni juice on her channel, y'all. No, I'm just kidding. Look, the third thing is, what is the poverty line and why is it wrong to use it in an assessment of black progress? $24,000 for two people and their two kids. Is that a right measure of success? You know, thenation.com did an article and they said that they talked about how the federal poverty line was just too damn low. When they created the federal poverty line, they used half of the median income for the nation. But Johnson and Nixon, they opted out of that and just said, let's just use inflation. To the point now where the poverty line is like $15,000, $12,000 too low. So when you get a study like the American Enterprise Institute study that tries to measure against the poverty line as if it was static, it shows they either don't know the basics of economics or they lying. Either way, I don't want to hear from you. You can't just say how many black men are above the poverty line, because the poverty line is not static or consistent. They have changed the way it's measured. What do you think, caller? I want to get your opinion on this.
You know, it's just interesting because even when applying for college and different things like that, like since, you know, the report that you released, What We Get Wrong About Closing the Wealth Gap, the racial wealth gap and different things, you find that native black DOS were monolithic in terms of wealth and you know, how much wealth we have. And you know, when you go to apply for those scholarships, certain ones, they want you to be like dirt poor, or you know, that they measure you by the federal poverty line, and it's like,
well, let's say one more thing. Let's say one more thing that they do. So this study used income. We have shown that income is a flawed way to measure families. Let's look at wealth, bro. They didn't want to look at wealth, because when you get into that wealth, you might get negative and no wealth and all kind of things. So we look at income, right? But the problem with a lot of these colleges is what? They don't look at wealth. They look at income. So the colleges are looking at income. Your mama made $80,000 last year. I don't care that she paid $15,000 for student loans on net. She made $80,000. So like, what does that mean for us? If you paying credit cards and student loans, and people will say, well, the credit cards are your fault. No, I had to get a laptop to go to school. I had to pay for my summers because I really couldn't find work, and I'm trying to stay in school. Like, none of that counts. So like, what we end up with is we're double whammy. While white people sitting on all the wealth, but maybe they shut their income down. You know, they sitting on $1.5 million, making $10,000 a year. On paper, they look like they can get Section 8. And so, like, I come to it and I say, what do you think about them? You know, let me ask Yvette. Let me bring her in. What do you think about them gaming us with this poverty line, Yvette?
Well, yeah, it's all like we'll allow them to set the benchmark, right? But that's what happens. Like, and this is not all our fault. See, one of the things that happens with us is that because we are, and this is why we can't compare ourselves to Africans. This is why we can't compare ourselves to Jamaicans. This is why we can't compare ourselves to Haitians. We're in a have been historically, this is the browning of America now, but we're still, you know, a majority white country. Well, what happens is that you're always in reaction mode. So you're always being reactionary to whatever bar they set. And whatever bar they set is 99% of the time beneficial to them. So it's hard for us to think outside of that and try to think in terms of, okay, wait a minute. Is this the marker that I should be using? Is this what we should be doing? Instead, what we say is, well, they set the marker. We just gotta go get some more income. Instead of saying like, no. Let's think about this outside of that. Let's think about this outside of this box that they have prescribed for us to like run around in like little rats.
Let me point out one other thing, because somebody in there chirping, they don't know I lane with it. Everything you got coming, I got something for you. So somebody in there chirping about like they talking about people that was in their 20s during the 80s. They talking about the late boomers or the Gen Xers. Look, this study is flawed also because it includes two distinct groups. You can't really include people born between 57 and 60 that caught the tail end of Carter with people that are born between 61 and 64 that caught the early part of Reagan. That's not my fault. This is what the study did. But at the end of the day, that group has a way better potential than the group today. Because this thing here, this Uber, this you'll drive at night by, they had you driving over there by Skid Row, dropping off two homeless people. They'll have you as a single mama going all the way to Irvine at 3 a.m. because you're trying to get your kid an extra pair of Nikes. They didn't have that. Do you understand the kind of retirement plans that were at government jobs, like the post office, like the county of Los Angeles? Stop lying. My mama had me at 16, so she was that age. You could get a good job that paid $30,000 and gave you what they call grade A retirement. You know what grade they giving right now at many of these government jobs in LA? Grade none. They don't give retirement. They gave some kind of 401k plan. Even when I came of age, they were giving the E plan. So A, B, C, D, E. E, when I was coming out of law school. Now they don't even give it. So don't tell me about that like you guys had it so hard. This is the game they play on millennials. Wealth is calcified. 1980, while Reagan got elected, it was the peak of wealth spread between the bottom and the top, between 0.1 and the 90. So yeah, Reagan got elected, but it took years before it really set in. That's why somebody like Rick Mama had a house. Rick Mama had a house in 1980. You could come from Texas and come to LA and actually buy a house without being well educated or anything. I think everybody lying to us. Everybody telling us a mistruth about timing. And young people got to start understanding it. Your life after college. A young man just called in before you commented and told us that he worked 3 jobs after college making $11,000. Do we understand, like, nothing makes sense that you just said in the comment? Do I respect the fact that there was a struggle? Yeah. But what I am telling you is that we in a different moment. And so what I want to do right now, Yvette and caller, is just come back to looking at the 4th question as we move through this. Y'all both still with me, right?
Yeah.
All right. This is a less about data, just more about like how we view things. Because what I get a lot, me and Yvette talk basically every day. But what I get from a lot of young women and people that I talk to is they just want to hear somebody that want to be successful. 2 C's silent, successful. So they just want Peter Parker. They ain't never been to no laboratory to tell them that he gonna be Spider-Man. And they want him to climb right now up the building. And I'm saying to you, if you believe, because a lot of people shared this article, didn't even look at who wrote it, didn't look at it came from a conservative think tank, 3 people wrote it. It was W. Bradford Wilcox, a sociologist, not an economist, Wendy Wang, this Asian woman, and Ronald Mincy, this old black man. Wrote it for AEI. Come on, I don't even know what y'all talking about. I ain't listening to these people. This Tonetalks. Me and Sandy Darity, you can check our Twitter thread. We went back and forth explaining how this didn't make no sense. I'm just telling y'all that I'm here now. Nothing goes past these walls that ain't right. And I feel like for a lot of us, we not used to that because we ain't seen nobody go at these old people head like this. Or we ain't seen nobody like Yvette go at Ocasio-Cortez like she did last week. I commend you, Yvette. And we not going for it no more. And so I look at this thing and I'm going to read number 4 to you. If you believe black men are successful, is it based on the man in the mirror? This is for the black man himself when you wake up, or for the couples asking the women that date these men, the actual guy that you're dating, or is it his projection? Is this all based on the possibilities of what he says he'll become after he sells all his Herbalife packages, or when he stacks up from Uber and starts that pizza truck? Are we being honest about the person in front of us? What would make someone share that CNN article that is so ignorant? Caller, you want to say something on that? If you don't, I totally understand.
Man, shoot, the thing I thought about when I looked at that article was the fact that I did a prison ministry and different things like that back in 2014, and we traveled the East Coast and we did like performances like theater and stuff like that. We would go to the different jails. We went to Rikers, went to Maine State Prison and different things like that. And I think that was the first time. We also went to women's and youth correctional facilities. So we got the whole gamut. And I think that really opened my eyes because the last place we went to, it was the biggest group we had. And, the further south we went, we started in Maine, New England, and then we went down to New York and ended in Philly. And the further south you went, the more young black men and black men in general you saw in prison. And the black female side of things, it was very homogenous as well. It was nothing but black women in those prisons, the black youth. And it was just astounding to me how in my face it was that we're not successful and that, we're basically being enslaved, re-enslaved, and then, through imprisonment and mass incarceration. So we really don't have a future is what it felt like to me. It weighed very heavily on me. So to see an article like this and then the report that came out, a couple of months back about the punishing reach that racism has and how we as black men don't have any mobility, upward mobility, economic mobility, especially I think it was like Generation Y, the people who were born in the 70s, late and mid 70s and different things like that. So it totally contradicts that whole report, which is why it doesn't make sense. So, and myself personally, I'm in the same boat as the other caller in terms of having student loans and going to college and doing everything right, and then not really getting the results that I should have gotten. Like so many other black people, we've been held back by racism. So, I don't know about this whole success thing and black men being successful. It just sounds crazy to me.
Let me jump in here. Let me take one more caller for the night. Let's take this next caller. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Vaughn from Detroit.
Let me say this to the last caller. I'm just trying to get everybody in. The calls come in hot. Thank you so much for calling in. Let me say this, though, man. Let me say this. What's going on right now, because there's a second now. So everybody talked about Gen Xers. Now somebody talking about old boomers. I'm not talking. You got to be clear about what we're talking about. I didn't make the block that they're talking about. The study did. They're not talking about people that came home in the color of law. Those are either greatest generation people or old boomers that are way outside of this window. So I'm not saying that they didn't have it hard trying to get a house and everything. But at the same time, still be honest, them houses was cheap. Like LA, a house is $500,000 entry level. Understand that the middle black family's worth $200 here. I think that what has happened is we've let this narrative go on too long that y'all had it better or y'all had it worse. This moment, according to Thomas Piketty, who wrote Capital in the 21st Century, America has the most unequal wealth since the Gilded Age. Since the Gilded Age. I come back to it and I ask Yvette before I jump to the caller, what's up with this sharing of this article? And these people that want to have a success just want any kind of mate that tells them that success is possible.
Yeah, I think, but see, the thing is, we're so caught up. Like, we believe in magic. There's no other way to say it. Like, we believe in magic. We might as well believe in Harry Potter, because it's wish fulfillment syndrome. It's wish fulfillment syndrome. And Oprah did a lot of that in terms of this indoctrination and the ingraining of the idea that you change your world, you transform your world, not just change it in terms of I can work out, I can run that mile. Like, see, I'm not saying that your thought don't matter. If you run and I'm a runner. If you run, like, your mental state matters. There are definitely spaces where that can transform. It can transform your workout. It can't transform 400 years of systemic oppression where you're locked out. It doesn't transform that. It can transform how you deal with that, but it cannot transform that thing in itself. And so what we have, though, is this generation of wish fulfillment who thinks that they think, these people think that they're mind benders, that they can look at something and think about it long enough and it changes. Well, if that were the case, we'd all be rich and swimming in Bentleys and diamonds and rubies. Right?
I think that's a lot of reason. I think that's a lot of the reason that the divorce rate is so high for first time marriages for black women. I think it's because wish fulfillment ain't working no more. You got that slipper coming off, like, I think it's Cinderella. It's falling off mid-marriage, before they leave the chapel. And so, like, I come to it, and I also got to ask about marriage too. Caller, you still there with us, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
So this is the one of the last two questions. I'm gonna let you chime in. What is the danger of pushing propaganda around marriage or the military as fixes for historical systemic oppression? So much of this study is about telling us that we don't need reparations, that we don't need affirmative action, that we're not broken, that when we look around, our families leave no inheritance often, that our families have money flowing up, not down. Marriage is a reflection of stability. It don't create it. I keep telling y'all that. And so you have them saying the military can fix it. Of course, during the boomers era. Of course. Not so, like, what do you think about this propaganda around this piece? And you can speak to anything you want about this study. Don't feel limited.
Hey, listen, I'm glad you responded to this in the timely manner that you did. Because when I read that, the first thing I thought was, like, this is to counteract Tone's report. Somebody had got a hold of your report, the powers that be, and say, you know what? This is too much truth given to black people. We need to counteract that. That was the first thing that went to my mind when I read that. And I'm glad you responded in the time manner you did to counter their counterpoint, to let us know the truth. Because when this starts, I mean, it's going to hit the intelligent folks in the black community, but it's going to start spreading downward. And when folks start getting this throughout the black community, they are going to really demand some stuff to be happening for real. And some powerful people in this country have decided we need to stop that before it happens. So that's why they put that report out.
Thank you so much for calling, caller. I always appreciate when people think of me. You know.
All right, thanks, sorry, brother.
I appreciate that, man. Cause that's what I don't get paid to do this. This is free. I work today. So when I come to you, essentially, I don't get paid to do this show. I come here to do this because I believe Black America needs a message. I don't believe I'm anointed though. Yvette, I said I don't believe I'm anointed. I ain't gonna say nothing. I come here to just spread a message because there's a gap happening. There's Sandy Darity, the Federal Reserve, the Census Bureau, and all that information they've been putting out. And then there's you, a person that didn't know any of it. Now you know it. It's about to spread like a wildfire. Remember when hip hop hit? When hip hop hit? Before it was like, there was little no, I don't even know who the Eazy-E is. And all of a sudden it was like mega stardom. This finna go like that. I'm just telling y'all like right now, because I already know this is. So let's just get our group together so we love each other and hold on together, because it's about to be a ride. I don't know where it's going, but it's about to be a ride because somebody got to say it. I look over and the last thing I'm going to bring up, I'm going to let Yvette chime in first, and I'm going to finish out, is LeBron James and his move to L.A., Los Angeles. He with the Lakers now. A measure of black males being successful, because that's the whole thing. Success, success, success. I've talked about the decadent veil, and I brought that out. That I believe there's a black celebrity covering black poverty. But that's kind of the framework for white America. I showed y'all before on the racial diamond that white folks don't even see black folks. Many white folks all through the middle of America, the heartland, don't have no black people in their life. So they know LeBron James. But you got whole swaths of LA, unemployed black males, homeless down on Skid Row. We 60% of the homeless, 2% of the city. So I come back to it, and is LeBron's success even matter, Yvette? Is that the black men that they're talking about?
I mean, I think it matters in a negative way. Like, I think it matters in a negative way because we talk about it and we see a black man with money. So you so busy feeling LeBron's pockets, you don't feel how empty yours are. So you don't live in your own life. Like, we live through this projection of our own aspirations. Like, in the future, I don't know if as a group we ever live like in the present moment and just take into account what we don't have and what we're missing, and then try to assess exactly why am I missing it. I don't think we do that at all. And so he is important. LeBron James is important, but in a very negative way in terms of like we shouldn't even halfway know, honestly, like how much he got. Like you don't even really hear, like, even when you see the people who like the World Cup and the soccer, you don't hear them talking about all the soccer players and how much they got paid.
Baseball, like, the same. I mean, they do a little bit on baseball, but not like this. Even like the darker skinned Costa Ricans or whatever, they don't even cover them. Like, this is the weirdest thing ever, the way that they do this, because it feels like propaganda, just like this article. I don't know if y'all understand that. I don't think these people play basketball. I think they play cover up. And so, like, the whole thing is built around telling us how much they make, so that we can have black people that make money too. But we all got all these broken black men in our families, all these broken black men with no wealth. Whether they've come out of prison or come out of college, ain't got no wealth, ain't got no prospects. The only thing that changes this is government. My solution is to stop telling me that a white man's government, somebody else's government, understand it's your government, that your family built this government, that there's a caste system forming, and we got to break down the boundaries between the castes because we are at the bottom. And if you don't understand that today, you're going to feel it tomorrow. I'm going to let Yvette get the last word. I appreciate everybody tuning in. The CNN article don't make no sense. In actuality, no CNN. Black men are not successful economically in America. Yvette, you want to say the last word just to tell them where they can find you?
I just, it's the same thing. And I think these, we've talked about this for a while. And I appreciate the people who were tweeting it and doing the stuff, we talked about. But one of the things that you and I have talked about is that people got to stop. People got to stop, like, people got to stop, like, being like everybody got a point of view. No, the data isn't a point of view. The data is the truth, and you got to stand with that truth. You just can't be like, well, I'm kind of pissed off, and then go on. And if you meet if you meet Al Sharpton out somewhere, I'm not saying do anything, but I'm just saying like, oh, I'm so grateful to meet you.
Taking pictures.
It's so wonderful. Or somebody on Twitter, yeah. Or somebody on Twitter, you don't want to, they'll tweet something and you'll just look at it and you won't say nothing. You scared on Twitter? You can't pop off on Twitter? If you can't do nothing on Twitter where there's total anonymity, what can you do anywhere? Like Twitter should be your training ground.
You better tell them where they can find you, because I know everybody that heard you that's on my channel.
Monday, Wednesday, YouTube, Breaking Brown. You can type in Yvette Carnell. Also at Breaking Brown for Twitter. Y Carnell on Facebook, and check me out Instagram too. Y Carnell.
What time on Mondays and Wednesdays?
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Right there on YouTube. Again, this is Tone Talks. I appreciate everybody tuning in this Friday. This is a productive discussion. I'm going to probably take this down and then post it with some images and everything. Dash Radio, Dash Talk X. Support Dash Talk X. Just great shows. Zoe Williams. So many other great shows that go on all across this channel. We're going to keep it going on. Thank you for tuning in to Tone Talks.